reduce the size of this ant. So how many of you would like to chant and immediately become happy today? Please raise your hand. That is. So that is what I am here for. Today I promise you one thing. By the end of the talk, I'll ask you again, did you become happy or not? Okay. But you have to chant loudly. Alright. So I hope all of you will chant loudly with me. Are you ready? Yes. Oh, wonderful, dear devotees. But you see, if you are very unhappy in life, it's very important to learn one thing in order to become happy in life, and that is to learn how to drink, dear devotees. Yeah. So now you might think, have we invited a proper person to sit and speak? You take an unhappy person to drink, he drinks, after drinking, he becomes happy. That's very simple, it is in the material world. So, dear devotees, how many of us are prepared to drink today and become happy? Please raise your hands. All right. So, this is not a class about breaking regulative principles, but still, I invite all of you to drink, dear devotees. Welcome. And I will encourage you on the path of drinking by giving a quote from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, kindly read what Prabhupada says.
Yes. The thing is, if you want to become a drunkard, you mix with people who drink. Then you drink a little, little, little. Then you become a big drunkard. Then your drinking business begins immediately. Then if you continue, and as the drunkard becomes a big drunkard, you become a big devotee.
I see. I told you it was very easy. Huh? So Srila Prabhupada says, the thing is, if you want to become a drunkard, you mix with people who drink. See, dear devotees, there are two ways of learning how to drink. Right? Now, first is you take a university course in how you mix various drinks. I'm not gone through any of the. Just to disclaimer, I don't have a university degree in drinking. But either you can go to the university and learn how to mix various drinks, or there is the traditional way, where what Srila Prabhupada specifies. What is the traditional way, dear devotees? You mix with people who drink. And then with them you drink little, little in the beginning. Don't drink too much in there. Little, little. And then that intoxication sets in. And gradually you also become a big drunkard. So like this, Srila Prabhupada is saying, like a small drunkard becomes a big drunkard, a devotee becomes a big devotee. So dear devotees, this drinking especially is not the drinking we find in the material world. Srila Prabhupada is speaking here about drinking through the ears, and it's very important to learn the art of drinking through the ears. Today, there will be various expert acharyas who will prepare various drinks, and you have to drink through the ears. And then you will start, maybe you will start feeling little intoxicated. All right, I'll ask you from time to time if you are intoxicated or not. Anyways, so this poetry should be drunk, and that poetry can be in any particular language. In fact, one of the best poetries I have seen is not in the Sanskrit language, it is in the Hindi language. And this poetry was written by a devotee of Shri Krishna from a Muslim background. His name was Rasaleen, and here's a wonderful verse by Rasaleen. I'll sing it, kindly sing after me. हमी हलाहल मद भरे श्वेत श्याम रत्ना अमी हलाहल मद भरे श्वेत श्याम रत्ना जियत मरत झुकी झुकी पड़त जी चितवत एक बार। जियत मरत झुकी झुकी पड़त जी चितवत एक बार। So the devotee poet Raslin says, Ami halahal mad bhare. Ami, dear devotees, is the rough Hindi term for Amrita. What is the meaning of Amrita, dear devotees? Nectar. Halahal is the deadliest of poisons. And mother is the greatest intoxication. So he is speaking of three things: Ami, nectar; halahal, the greatest poison; and mother, the most intoxicating wine. And he assigns three colors to it. Shweta, which color is Shweta, dear devotees? White. So white is the color of the most pristine nectar. Shyama, which color is Shyam, dear devotees? Black is the color of the deadliest of poisons. And Ratnar is ruby red, reddish color. This is the color of the most intoxicating wine. Now, dear devotees, he says, what will happen to a person who consumes all these three at the same time? He says, Jiyata, that person will live because of the nectar. Marata, he will die simultaneously because of the poison. And Jhuki Jhuki Parata, and he will stumble around everywhere due to the most intoxicating wine. And dear devotees, please look into Krishna's eyes and tell me what colors can you see? So you can see the condition of Sri Radha. She is simultaneously living, simultaneously dying, and stumbling around because of the most intoxicating wine. This, dear devotees, is wonderful poetry. Do you feel little intoxicated? Huh? All right. We have just begun. All right. Here is the translation. Please read. Prabhu.
Wonderful are Govinda's eyes, white as if filled with pristine heavenly nectar, black as if full of the deadliest poison, and reddish as if filled with the most intoxicating wine. If he glances even once at anyone, that person simultaneously lives due to the nectar, dies due to the poison, stumbles around due to the intoxicating wine.
So, this is the wonderful universe of devotional poetry. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has given two adjectives for Germany. What are the two adjectives that Sri Krishna gives to Germany in Bhagavad Gita? No? Dukkhalayam, Ashasham. So these are the two adjectives that Bhagwan gave, isn't it? No? Yes or no? Yeah. Oh, not only Germany. All right. Yeah. I was thinking, once I leave Germany, I go back to Mumbai, I'll be happy. But no, these two adjectives will follow me faithfully wherever I go in the universe. So every place in the world has been given two adjectives by Bhagwan. And what are the two adjectives, dear devotees? Dukkhalayam, Ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam is that the world is an abode of misery. Ashashvatam, it is temporary. But we need a universe which is the exact opposite of that. Sukhalayam, Shashvatam, which is an abode of bliss and which continues forever. And this, dear devotees, is the universe of poetry. Now, in order to become happy, it is very important to enter into this universe of devotional poetry, because there is nothing of much value in the material world, and the devotee poets have concluded that it is best to stay within this particular universe, which is Sukhalayam and Shashvatam, happy and eternal. What Srila Rupa Goswami wrote 500 years ago, what the previous devotees have written thousands of years ago, is preserved exactly as it is, and you can enter into that universe even today. Those universes are not affected by time. and those universes are full of happiness. In fact, Sri Vyasadeva says in the Agni Puran is a wonderful verse by Sri Vyasadeva himself. Apare kavya samsare कविर एव प्रजापति यथास्मै रोचते विश्वम् तथेदं परिवर्तते apare kavya samsare. This kavya samsar universe of poetry is apar, it is infinite. Dear devotees, there is a fixed boundary on the material universe, but on the universe of poetry there is no fixed boundary. It is apar, it is unlimited. And this universe has Lord Brahma as the creator, but the universe of poetry has Kavi, the poet, as Lord Brahma. The poet is the Lord Brahma of that universe. And the big difference between a material universe and the universe of poetry is that once Sri Brahma creates the material universe, he cannot modify it very much. But the universe of poetry is such, yatha asmai rochate vishwam, as the poet desires, tatha idam parivartite, his universe can dynamically transform. So this is the wonderful universe of poetry that has been given to us by Sri Vyasadeva and all the great poets of the past, beginning with Adi Kavi Sri Valmiki. Please read.
In the admittedly diverse poetic universe, the Kavi is Lord Brahma. As and when he desires, his poetic universe transforms accordingly.
So the Kavi is Lord Brahma. With the poet takes the place of Lord Brahma in that particular universe. But in order to appreciate poetry, we also need to be a connoisseur of poetry. And being an artist is not optional in Vedic culture. We have to understand that modern culture is in many ways different from traditional Vedic culture, in the sense that modern culture places the highest amount of value on sciences, and below sciences there is commerce, and whosoever cannot find something in sciences and commerces, the leftovers of the society end up in arts. This is how the society works nowadays. Those people who pursue arts find it difficult often to find suitable occupation for themselves, and it's a very lamentable condition of the human society today. Traditional Vedic society places heavy emphasis on arts, music, and literature. And any person who is not a connoisseur of either one of these three, arts, music, or literature, that person is not considered as a fit person to sit in a respectable assembly. Once upon a time, King Bhartrihari, the king of Ujjain, was sitting in his court, and he was having many poets were reading a lot of poetry, and there were many people sitting in the assembly, and then there was one person who dozed off to sleep. And then when they woke him up and said, such wonderful poetry was being discussed, what happened to you? Yeah, it's okay, but better study Vedanta. I'm not attracted to poetry. So Bhartrihari at that point of time spontaneously ended up speaking something. This is what he said, dear devotees. साहित्य संगीत कला विहीन साक्षात् पशुः पुच्छ विषाणहीन तृणं न खादन्नपि जीवमानस् तद्भागधेयं परमं पशूनाम्. Sahitya, dear devotees, does anybody know what is Sahitya? Literature. Sangeet, what is Sangeet, dear devotees? Music. Kala is 64 arts. Vihina, a person who is devoid of all of these. You should at least have some taste in literature, some taste in music, or some taste in one of the 64 arts. Vihina, a person who is devoid of all of this, Bhartrihari said, Sakshat Pashu, directly an animal. One difference, Puchha Vishan Hina, devoid of a tail and horns. This is one big difference. Trinam na Khadana, there's one more difference. This two-legged animal, who is a non-rasik, He doesn't eat grass, api jiva manas, but still survives. Tad bhagadheyam paramam pashunam. It is the great good fortune of the four-legged animals that this two-legged animal doesn't eat grass. Dear devotees, it's very important that in a respectable assembly there should be rasikas. A single arasika, non-connoisseur, can spoil the mood of the entire assembly. Believe it or not. A single arasika can spoil the mood of the entire assembly. And in my childhood, my Sanskrit teacher used to give this example. If a single dead fly falls in a packet of sweets, it can give diarrhea to the entire marriage party. Alright. Similarly, if a single or rasik enters into an assembly of rasiks, there's enough to spoil the mood of the entire assembly. But all of you are rasik Vaishnavas, dear devotees. So, this is not, you are not a rasik, you are all rasikas. But this is what Bhartrihari had to say. Please read, Prabhu.
A person devoid of any taste in literature, music, or arts is verily like an animal without tail and horns. Only difference is that such a two-legged animal survives without eating grass. That is the supreme good fortune of the four-legged animal.
Yeah, otherwise the four-legged animals wouldn't have anything remaining to eat. Dear devotees. Now, somebody may say, what is the use of poetry, especially for those who are practicing spiritual life? And Srila Prabhupada himself specifies what is the importance of poetics for those who are Vaishnavas. And here is what Srila Prabhupada says.
For the Vaishnava, there is one qualification, poetic. Everyone should be poetic. So, but that poetry language should be simply to glorify the Lord.
So, one of the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava is, please repeat after me, Kavi. So, Kavi means a Vaishnava is supposed to be a poet. And I have asked this question previously. Did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compose poetry? Yes. And everybody in the parampara composed poetry? And Srila Prabhupada? And what are we planning to do, dear devotees? Yes or no? So, at least if we don't want to compose poetry, at least we can relish the poetry of the previous acharyas. I hope all of you are willing to at least relish the poetry of the previous acharyas. Wonderful. So, this is very nice. Before we start relishing, I have promised you something today. Does anybody remember what I promised you? Yeah, I'll make you happy. Okay. I see I have taken a big responsibility. I'll make you happy today. And it's a big responsibility to take before the talk begins, because it is uncertain whether you will be happy or not. But I have confidence in the previous acharyas. But before we start drinking, because I told you have to drink in order to be happy. So before we start drinking, we have to learn some things about poetics. So we will first and foremost define poetry. And dear devotees, we begin by defining what poetry is, and we go to our Acharya Sri Kavi Karnapur, that particular personality who in his childhood got the opportunity to suckle upon the toe of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, thereby gaining extraordinary poetic abilities and later becoming known as Kavi Karnapur, the ornament of all the poets. He is one of the unsung geniuses of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, because we often sing poetry from Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, but rarely is poetry from Sri Kavi Karnapur sung. And here is Sri Kavi Karnapur, who wrote an entire manual on poetics, Alankar Kaustubh. And this is what he says while defining poetry. He says poetry is not just words, poetry is a living, breathing human being. And he defines poetry in that way. The verse is in the meter Shikharini, same as Jagannath Ashtakam. I'll sing, kindly sing after me. Shariram shabdarthau dvanirasava atma akila raso. Atma akila raso गुणामाधुर्याद्यापमितिमुखोऽलं कृतिगणा उपमितिमुखोऽलं कृतिगणा सुसंस्थानं हृदि सकिलपरमकाव्यपुरुषो यदस्मिन् दोषस्यात् श्रवणकटुतादिसनपर So hear carefully what he says. Poetry is actually a living person. And define this living person, he says Shariram, the body of poetry, is made out of two things. Shabda and Artha. What is the meaning of Shabda, dear devotees? Words. And what is Artha? Meaning. So the body of poetry is made out of words and its meanings. Dhvanir Asava. Dhvani. Hidden indicated meanings are like the life breath of that particular poetry. Now, what are hidden meanings? Hidden meanings are understood only by those who are like minded to the poet. This is called dhvani. For example, I can make a very simple English statement. I can make a statement that the ceiling is white. Now, this is a direct statement and there is no hidden meaning to it. But dhvani is when statements have hidden meanings. For example, if I go to a school and if I say that the school bell rang, so the direct meaning is that the school bell rang. But what is the dhvani? What is the indicated meaning behind it? Yeah, time to go home. I hope you're able to understand. So dhvani asava. Dhvani is the life air of poetry. That hidden meaning which doesn't come out by reading it directly. That is the life air of poetry. Atma killer raso, and the soul of that human being is rasa. Soul of that poetry is rasa. And what is rasa? That non-material joy that you experience after getting intoxicated on poetry. That is the soul of the poetry. Now every human being should have some qualities. So guna madhuryadya. So our poetic human being also has qualities such as madhurya. Madhurya means some poetry has very soft syllables. Now you might have heard Radha Kripa Kataksha Stotram. Soft syllables on the ear. Muninda Vrindavandite Triloka Shoka. How does it sound on the ears, devotees? Soft or rough? Rough. Soft? Okay. Now Ravan wrote his glorification of Bhagavan Shiva also in the same meter. You want to hear? जटाटवीगलज्वल प्रवाह पावितस्थले डमर डमर डमर्वयं चकार चंड तांडवम. How does it sound, devotees? Rough. So just as some human beings are soft in nature, some human beings are rough in nature. Similarly, some poetry is soft in nature, some poetry is rough in nature. Poetry is also a living human being. Don't consider it dead words. Upamiti mukho alankriti gana. And dear devotees, a person who doesn't look very beautiful, you can give him alankar. Maybe some garland can be put, and that person starts looking more beautiful. Similarly, you can decorate a poetry further by adding some alankar, literary ornaments to it. Susamsthanam riti sakila paramah kavya purusho. This is kavya purush, the human being of poetry. And yadasmin doshah syat. Now, while balancing so many things, the poet may miss out on one or two factors, and maybe small mistakes may enter. Sanaparaha. So that should not be considered very seriously because every human being has some minor defects. All right. So this is what Sri Kavi Karnapur defines poetry as. Please read.
Personified poetry, Kavya Purush, has his body made of words and their meanings, dhvani. Suggestion is his life air, rasa, his soul, gunas, poetic excellences are present in him. He is decorated externally with alankars, poetic ornaments. Minor faults may be present in him, but they are not to be neglected.
They are to be neglected. They are to be neglected. दृष्टै स्वभावजनितैर्वपुषश्च दोषैर् न प्राकृतत्वमिह भक्तजनस्य. If you see any faults, even in the devotees, some minor faults, try to neglect them. Similarly, some minor faults in poetry, try to neglect them. Now, dear devotees, there are so many factors that go in poetics. One of the minor factors is alankar. And the meaning of alankar is literary ornaments, or we also say figures of speech. They are merely the external decorations of poetry. They are not the heart of poetry. But from time immemorial, Sanskrit poets have been using variety of alankars, poetic ornaments, in order to decorate their poetry. In the manuals of Sanskrit poetics, more than 150 alankars or ornaments have been defined, which add value to poetry. Out of these 150 alankars, today I will take only one alankar. Alright? And we will try to become happy by discussing one alankar out of the 150 plus alankars. And alankar is just a minor part of poetry. What is the heart of poetry? What is the soul of poetry? Does anybody remember? Rasa. So I'm not even touching rasa here. I'm just touching the external decorations. And external decorations are called as alankar. And alankar are more than 150. We are touching only today one of them. One of the most popular ornaments, dear devotees, please repeat. Anuprasa. Anuprasa is known as alliteration. Most of us know what alliteration is. Can anybody tell me what alliteration is, dear devotees? Yes? Yeah. Where the first letter is always the same, alright? Anybody else knows? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else can tell me what is Anupras alliteration? English alliteration. What is alliteration? Yeah. Wonderful. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. Anupras is similar sounding syllables. That definition has anupras, all right? So that definition, similar sounding syllables, is known as anupras, alliteration. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan in Sahitya Kaumudi defines anupras. You see, our acharyas, when we remember Sri Baldev Vidyabhushan, what image do we have of him? Of a Vedanta acharya or of a poetic acharya? What image do we have of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan? Vedanta acharya. But he wrote so many literatures on Kavya poetics. So here is the poetic side of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. Please sing after me. Varna Samyam Anuprasa. So Anupras is Varna Samyam, similarity of syllables in a poem or verse. Shri Kavi Karnapur also defines Anupras in his Alankar Kaustubh. Please sing after me. Anuprasyata ityarthe nupraso varna samyatah. So Anupras is the literary ornament formed when similar sounding syllables are repeatedly. And what is the Sanskrit term for repeatedly, dear devotees? You can see Anu. And excellently. What is excellently? Pra, arranged, asa. Please repeat after me. Anu, pra, asa, anu, pra, asa, anuprasa. This is how the term is formed. Sri Kavi Karnapur explains. Repeated excellent arrangement of syllables is known as Anupras. Now, it is wonderful to note that Srila Prabhupada also spoke something about Anupras. Out of the 150 ornaments, I found a quote specifically about Anupras. Therefore, I selected Anupras for today. Srila Prabhupada was lecturing on Bhagavad Gita on 3rd June 1968. He quoted the following verse. Now, dear devotees, please hear the verse and see if you can hear some Anupras. Bhavam budhirvatsa padam param padam. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham. Did you hear the Anuprasa, dear devotees? So Srila Prabhupada says something.
It's very nice poetry. Srimad Bhagavatam. Every verse there's poetic genius. Now you see in this verse, Vatsa padam param padam yad vipadam natesham. The padam, you see? Anupras. What is it called in English? The same word repeated? Alliteration. Yes. Padam vipadam. You see? Nicely made.
See, one poet can recognize good poetry. It takes a poet to recognize alankar. So, Srila Prabhupada is Kavi. Srila Prabhupada wrote so much poetry. In fact, one of the most important poetic works of Srila Prabhupada is not often studied. It is called Gitar Gan, a Bengali rendition of the entire Bhagavad Gita, which Srila Prabhupada has done. But very few devotees read Gitar Gan, Prabhupada's poetic translation of the Bhagavad Gita. So, Srila Prabhupada actually translated the entire Bhagavad Gita into Bangla poetry, and he himself is a wonderful poet. Now we are studying Anupras. Before we start drinking, just one last thing to do. Let's try to understand what are the types of Anupras. Dear devotees, there are two main types of Anupras. Please repeat after me the first one. Cheka-anuprasa. So cheka-anuprasa is when the repetition is done only one time. And the meaning of cheka is expert. It is expertly done so that you can have multiple instances of repetition, but every repetition occurs only how many times, dear devotees? One. This anupras is known as which anupras? Cheka anupras. So we are discussing some technical terms. The acharyas teach us these terms. But after learning the technical terms, it becomes very joyous. And when the restrictions are removed, dear devotees, the second anupras, please repeat. Vritti-anuprasa. So when vritti-anuprasa is when the restrictions are removed, you can repeat as many times as you want. This is known as vritti-anuprasa. So two types of anupras. What are the two, dear devotees? Which is the first one? Cheka-anuprasa. Which is the second one? Vritti-anuprasa. Now please remember these two terms. And we will now begin drinking. Are all of you ready to drink? Yes. All right, dear devotees. Now here comes the first Acharya. He says, I will make you drink. The first verse. And cheka-anuprasa is the condition is that the repetition should expertly occur only how many times? Once. Now I will show an example from Sri Kavi Karnapur's Alankar Kaustubh. You have to hear carefully and recognize what are the repetitions. And every verse will have a meaning in relationship to Sri Sri Radha Krishna Leela. Alright. So please sing after me. And dear devotees, you have to sing loudly. Alright. Sing as loudly as possible. People should know there were drunkards assembled in the evening. Alright. So, sing loudly, dear devotees. Dhamam Shyamam Idam Shridam Jagato Viradodayam Dhyayam Geyam Cha Sarvesham Drisho Prema Yashomayam. So now can you start identifying some of the single repetitions? What is the first single repetition that you can see? Dhama Shyama. So the ama in Dhama and the ama in Shyama is the repetition. How many times has it been repeated, dear devotees? Once. Which anupras? Cheka-anuprasa. Please remember the term cheka-anuprasa. Okay. What is the second repetition, dear devotees? Idam Shridam. The dam is repeated only once. What is the third repetition, dear devotees? Jag ato vir ato. The ato is the third repetition. Any other repetition? Dhyayam geyam. Any other repetition? Drisho yasho. Alright, in the final line. I'll make it easy for you, dear devotees. Now you can see the repetitions. Yes, with the color coding. Now, please sing after me. Dhamam Shyamam Idam Shridam jagato viratodayam dhyayam gayam च सर्वेषां दृशो प्रेम यशोमयम्. Of course, it has a meaning in relation to Radha Krishna Leela. Please read, Prabhu.
This abode of constantly increasing dark beauty, Krishna, bestows good fortune on the entire world. He is fame personified, the object of meditation and singing for everyone, and the abode of love for everyone's eyes.
So, dear devotees, did you feel some intoxication? Be honest. It's the only one leg of religion is remaining. All right. Please say loudly yes, no, or maybe. No. Okay. Yeah. I like this honesty. Huh? Wonderful. Little intoxication maybe, but we want more. All right. So, dear devotees, Sri Kavi Karnapur says, all right, one more for cheka-anuprasa. We'll try to go one step at a time. Ananga Mangalarambhe Samveda Sveda Kampayo Shanke Panke Ruhadrisho Narasyananda Mattata. Now, can you identify? I would like to appoint somebody to identify the repetitions. So, Prabhu, behind Vikram Keshri, Prabhu, your name? No, no, yes. Ah, okay. Prabhu, now I am giving you one task. Please try to. We are discussing. Meanwhile, can you try to identify the number of repetitions? All right, dear devotees, can you try to find the repetitions? Which is the first repetition? Ananga Mangala. Any other? Rambhe Sabhe. The second repetition. Any other? Shanke Panke. So these are the three repetitions. Here is the verse with the color coding. Dear devotees, let's sing together this time. Ananga Mangalarambhe Sambheda Sveda Kampayo Shanke Panke Ruhadrisho Narasyananda Mattata. Please read.
Seeing Sri Radhika and Krishna's amorous pastimes through the peephole, one gopi says to another, "At the very beginning of the love sport, I see perspiration and quivering on her body. I think that these transformations of the lotus-eyed Radhika will not be much pleasing to Krishna due to her extreme ecstasy."
This, dear devotees, is an example of the first type of anupras, cheka-anuprasa. Now we remove the restrictions and now we go to the second one. Which is the second one, dear devotees? Vritti-anuprasa. The condition here is that repetition should be multiple and as often as possible. Now Sri Kavi Karnapur says, please let me give the first example of this. Now Prabhu, you have to note the number of repetitions, alright? Okay. Dear devotees, please sing after me. Dhama Shyamalam Uddamam Kamakoti Manoharam Dhyayam Gayam Samasteyam Samaneyam Chamanase. So, dear devotees, Prabhu, how many repetitions in the first two lines? Please count. Four repetitions. Dhama, Shyama, Uddama, Kama. And how many repetitions in the remaining two lines? Four. Dhyayam, Gayam, Samastheyam, Samaneyam. So four repetitions in the first two lines, four repetitions in the remaining two lines. The verse is of 32 syllables. In a verse of 32 syllables, we ended up having 8 repetitions, dear devotees. Alright? Let's sing together this time and let's sing loudly, dear devotees. We are increasing the intoxication. Let's sing together. Dhama Shyamala Muddama Kama Koti Manoharam Dhyayam Gayam Samaseyam Samaneyam Chamanase. Please read the translation.
This abode of dark beauty, Krishna, has an unrestrained behavior and is as attractive as millions of cupids combined. His form is fit to be meditated on, sung about, protected, and worshipped within the heart.
Dear devotee Sri Kavi Karnapur says, I wish to increase the intoxication, and the second example will be of more repetitions. Ananga Sangara Sange Bhangi Meva Sajangama Sangeeta Rangi Tanvangi Sangira Sangato Hari. Prabhu, calculate the number of repetitions in the 4 lines. Yeah, all the 4. All of you calculate.
10.
Wow, 10 repetitions in 4 lines. Dear devotees, you can see how many repetitions there are. There are a total of 10 repetitions in the 4 lines. Alright? Can we sing loudly now, dear devotees? Let's sing together. Ananga Sangara Sange Bhangi Meva Sajangama Sangeeta Rangi Tanvangi Sangira Sangato Hari. Please read, Prabhu.
Hari has entered into the Ras Leela along with very slim-waisted gopis. In the various love sports that are taking place in this Leela, it appears as if crookedness personified in the form of Krishna is moving around, making love to these gopis.
Dear devotees, sometimes it's not about the number of repetitions. Sometimes it is about how the repetitions are done. There's a wonderful verse in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu which describes one of the most intoxicated personalities in the spiritual world. Dear devotees, you may follow the regulative principles in order to attain the spiritual world, but in the spiritual world, there are personalities who are intoxicated in love, and one of the most intoxicated personalities, dear devotees, is shown. Who is that, dear devotees? Sri Balaram. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu gives an example of the intoxication of Sri Balaram in the wonderful meter Prithvi. When you read it in the English translation, you may miss out on the original. But dear devotees, here is the original verse by Sri Rupa Goswami. This verse is in the meter Prithvi. I'll sing it. Now you have to sing loudly after me. Right? Baba Brahmadi Medini Lambate Chandrama. Once more. Baba Brahmati Medini Lambate Chandrama. Krishna Vavada Drutam Haha Sandigim Vrishnaya. Shashidu Munjame Papa Pan Patrastitam. Shishidu Munjame Papa Pan Patrastitam. Madaskhalitamalapan haladhara shriyam vakriya. So the translation also needs to be like that. Alright? So this time I will read the translation. Alright? So Sri Balaram is intoxicated by drinking Varuni. And dear devotees, after being intoxicated, he is saying to Sri Krishna, Bhava Brahmati Medini. The earth is spinning around. Lambate Chandrama. The moon is hanging upside down. Krishna. Vavada Drutam. Tell me. Ha 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 Santi Kim Vrishnaya. If the Vrishnis are laughing on me. Shishi Munchame Papapana Patra Sitam. Give me wine in my drinking vessel. Mothers Khalitamalapan Haladhara. May Lord Haladhar, who was thus faltering in intoxication, Shriyam Vahakriyat, give prosperity to all you drunkards. Yeah. Now do you feel the intoxication? I told you. Prabhupada said, drink little, little, little. That's what we are doing. All right. Now let's sing together, dear devotees. All right. And it should be loud. The neighbor should complain that there were drunkards in Golok Dham. All right, dear. Sing loudly, dear devotees, along with me. Bhava Brahmati Medini Lambate Chandrama Krishna Vavadadrutam Ha 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 Santi Kim Krishnaya Shishidu Mumumunjame Papa Papana Patra Sthitam Madas Kalitamalapan Haladhara Shriyam Vakriya. This is Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada at his best. Yeah? Anupras, dear devotees. Anyways, Prabhu, can we do better than this? Please tell me yes or no. Prabhu says no. All right. We go to the next example, dear devotees. Now, one of my most favorite poetry, as far as Anupras is concerned, occurs in a literature named Saraswati Kanthabharan. Saraswati Kanthabharan means Saraswati is the goddess of learning, and Kanthabharan means necklace. So this literature was written by King Bhoja in the 9th or 10th century. King Bhoja was the king of Gujarat in the western side of India. And in his kingdom, he made sure that even the dhobis, the washermen, will learn how to speak Sanskrit. Very good. So he made it compulsory for everyone to have some poetic knowledge. In his Saraswati Kanthabharan, he composed a verse on Bhagwan Ram, and this verse describes the coronation ceremony of Bhagwan Ram after he defeated Ravan and came back to Ayodhya. So in your hearts, dear devotees, you have to have this picture of Bhagwan Ram where the coronation ceremony is going on. Abhishek, the bathing ceremony of Bhagwan Ram is going on, dear devotees. The various servants are holding various pots for bathing Sri Ram. Now he will be the king after defeating Ravan. And Prabhu, you have to note the number of repetitions. All right, please, dear devotees, sing after me. रामाभिषेके मदविह्वलाय हस्ताच्युतो हेमघटस्तरुण्या सोपानमासाद्य चकार शब्दम्. Prabhu, can you please try to see the number of repetitions in the first 3 lines? The devotees, please try to see the number of repetitions in the first 3 lines. It seems that we are not able to see the repetitions. Let's draw the painting, dear devotees, then we will see. All right. We'll understand the meaning first. Ram Abhisheke. Whose Abhishek is going on, dear devotees? Ram. Mother Vivvalaya. The servants are holding pots of water. There is one lady holding a pot of water. Mother Vivvalaya. She is swooning in intoxication. And suddenly, because she's seeing her Lord after 14 years, she's swooning in intoxication. Hasta Achyuto. Suddenly the pot falls from her hand. But it doesn't break because it is a golden pot. But so Panama Sadhya Chakara Shabd, that pot goes falling down the stairs in front of everyone, dear devotees. Please sing after me. This time maybe we will see the repetitions. And keep this image in the mind. The pot went falling down the stairs. Rama Abhisheke Madavivalaya Hastachyuto Hema Ghatastarunya Sopanamasadya Chakar Shabdam Tatam Tatam Tam Tatatam Tatam Ta. So, last line is common in all languages. I will not translate. So, this is King Bhoja in Saraswati Kanthabharan. glorifying Bhagwan Ram using Anupras. So, dear devotees, I am very happy I saw such a verse glorifying Bhagwan Ram. But I am also a little unhappy because I am whose devotee? Krishna. So, such a verse is there for Bhagwan Ram. But there is no such verse for Bhagwan Krishna. So, when there is no such existing verse, there is the opportunity to create a new verse. Oh, dear devotees, would you like to see a newly composed verse? All right, dear devotees. Now we know this particular Leela. Which Leela is this, dear devotees? Damodar Leela. All right. Now, remembering this particular Leela, a new verse is composed glorifying this pastime. Damodaro modakaras Karsham Sudamna Tadudukhalasya Vrikshanukarshe Tvabhavaccha Shabdam Damodar Modakara. He gives a lot of joy to everybody. Chakara, he did something. What did he do? Karsham, he was pulling upon. He was pulling upon what? Sudamna, upon the beautiful rope. And the beautiful rope is attached to something. It is attached to ulukhal. What is ulukhal, dear devotees? Mortar. Vrikshanukarshe, when the trees were pulled down, to abhavaccha shabdam, there was a loud noise. Did you hear the noise, dear devotees? Would you like to hear the noise? Yeah. So please sing after me, dear devotees. Damodaro modakaras-chakara Karsham Sudamna Tadudukalasya Vrikshanukarshe Tvabhavaccha Shabdam Dhadam Dhadam Dham Dhadadham Dhadam Dha. Oh, nice. This, dear devotees, is vritti-anuprasa for Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Newly composed verse. Acha. Now I am happy because there is a verse now for Shri Krishna. But I am also a little unhappy because I am also a devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, isn't it? So should there be a verse for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Oh, wonderful. There should be a verse for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu too. So dear devotees, here is a verse for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remembering the pastime of the Ratha Yatra. So dear devotees, here is this particular pastime described. Neelachale Gaura Prabhurnanarta Prema Vibhuta Purato Rathasya Drishte Jagannath Uvacha Shabdam Neelachale. Neelachale is Jagannath Puri. Gaura Prabhur, our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nanartha, danced and danced. Prema Abhibhuta, he was Abhibhuta, overcome by Prema. And where did he dance? Purato, in front of. In front of what, dear devotees? Rathasya, in front of the chariot of Jagannath. Drishte Jagannath, suddenly Jagannath came out of the temple and Mahaprabhu saw Jagannath. And Uvacha Shabdam, and started saying something. Dear devotees, please repeat after me. Neelachale Gaura Prabhurnanarta Prema Vibhuta Purato Rathasya Drishte Jagannath Uvacha Shabdam Jajam Gagam Jam Jajagam Jajam Ga. So we know this pastime. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to utter his name, but instead of uttering the name Jagannath, he said So this is, dear devotees, the verse remembering this particular pastime. Now I am very happy, dear devotees. Now, even before the talk ends, I am asking you, are you happy? Yes. Oh, wonderful. So I have fulfilled my promise in the very middle of the talk. Dear devotees. Anyways, if the previous acharyas would see this poetry of mine, they would laugh on me and they would say, Hari Parshad Das, you don't know how to repeat. You are a very mediocre poet. And we'll be very generous to say you are a very mediocre poet. If you want to repeat like we repeat. So, dear devotees, here is a verse by Sri Raghunandan Goswami in his Gauranga Virudavali, remembering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam. Every word begins with the first alphabet of the name of Gauranga. I'll sing it. Please repeat after me. गौराङ्गो गणितं गतो गुणगणं गीर्वाणगोत्रो गवाम् ग्लानिं गाढतमाङ्गिलं गृहरुचिर्गान्धारगीतैर्गुरु गञ्जं गोत्रसमं गजं गतिरुचा गाम्भीर्यतो गौनिधिम् गाङ्गेयं गुरुगौरवेण गदतो गीःपद्धतिं गाहताम् Please say.
Gauranga is decorated with infinite qualities. He's the protector and deliverer of even the denizens of heaven. Having destroyed the guilt of the 14 worlds, he exhibits a bodily luster similar to Sri Radhika. He's the acharya of the special type of musical raga named Gandhara. He defeats the gait of a huge elephant by his walking, the gravity of the ocean by the gravity of his behavior, and even a personality like Bhishma by his faith in his guru. May that Lord Gauranga appear on the pathway of these words of glorification.
So, dear devotees, this is Sri Raghunandan Goswami glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by using Anupras. Now, Prabhu, can we go further ahead? I don't know. Yeah, he gives up. Sri Rupa Goswami is smiling at this point of time, saying, I haven't even said a word till now. Huh? Sri Rupa Goswami places a severe restriction upon himself, says, I will compose a verse using only one consonant. The vowels will change, but the consonant will remain the same. And he glorifies Sri Krishna by composing a verse using a single consonant. Dear devotees, I'll try to sing. Okay, please repeat after me. Nenu nano nanam nunam nanu no nanano nuni nane nanam nenu nenam nano nanano nanu. See how easy it is to glorify Sri Krishna. You are taking a shower. So like this, and lo and behold, you have a glorification of Sri Krishna. So this verse has not been composed like that. Every term has a very specific Sanskrit meaning, and rules of grammar have been used to compose this verse. There are severe restrictions that have been placed on composing the verse, but there is no grammatical mistake. The verse was translated for the first time in the English language by Gopi Prandan Prabhu from our society. So I want to give credit to him because he was the first one in our society to translate this verse into English language based on the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan. So Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan wrote a half-page commentary explaining each and every term, and now today we have the English translation of the verse. Let's sing together, dear devotees, loudly. Ninu nano nanam nunam nanu no nanano nuni nane nanam nenu nenam Nanau, nana, nanu, nanu. Please.
Did not the many-headed Lord Brahma, who impels the various demigods, offer prayers with tears streaming down his face, trying to pacify Lord Krishna, killer of Shakatasura?
So this translation is by Gopi Prandan Prabhu. Now don't ask me where is Lord Brahma in the original word, where is Shakatasur. They are all there, but you will need to see the commentary of Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan in order to bring it out. So, Prabhu, I think we have reached this limit now. We should stop here. There is no going beyond this. There is no beating this. Dear devotees, dear devotees, somewhere in South India, a Vaishnava Acharya is still smiling and saying that you have still not seen the limits of Anupras. A usual verse of 4 lines has 32 syllables. This Acharya is Sri Vedanta Deshika. And he composes a literature named Paduka Sahasram. 1000 verses glorifying the footwear of Lord Vishnu. Just the footwear. He's not yet reached the feet of Bhagavan. Okay? 1000 verses glorifying the footwear of Bhagavan Vishnu. And this is the example of the highest number of repetitions that can be achieved in a 32 syllabled verse with all 32 repetitions. Now, if you try to sing this verse in the regular meter, you will not be able to sing. So we have a different meter for this. It's called Vidyunmala. I'll sing. Please repeat after me. Ya 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 ya. 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 These dear devotees, it reminds me of the phone conversations I used to have with my mother when I was in college. So she used to call me, "Are you doing okay?" "Yeah, yeah." "Did you eat nicely?" "Yeah." So you say 32 times, "Yeah." You have glorification of the footwear of Bhagavan Vishnu. So only he could write a commentary on his own verse. So he wrote a commentary explaining his own verse, and this commentary has been tested by all the Vidwans of learned Pandits of Sanskrit. There is no fault in the commentary. This is an example of the highest number of repetitions that can be achieved. These dear devotees, can we sing together this time loudly? Yes? Like drunkards, dear devotees. Let's sing together. And sing as if nobody is listening. Alright? Let's sing. Ya 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 ya. 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 Wonderful. Huh? Here is the translation, dear devotees.
The jeweled footwear of Lord Narayana helps him attain all auspiciousness, removes all inauspiciousness, bestows all knowledge, inspires one to see him face to face, and is capable of traveling throughout the universe.
So this, dear devotees, is the highest limit of Anupras that can be achieved in a 32 syllabled verse. Now, dear devotees, we'll go quickly to the final section. Sometimes Anupras can also be integrated with diagrams. Alright? So, dear devotees, I'd like to have permission of all of you if I can show a verse, a new verse of composition based on Anupras within a diagram. Right? So, dear devotees, this verse is in a unique meter, Praharan Kalika. I will sing. Please repeat after me. Suratarati rate Sara 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 se Muramara Karame Varatara Varade Har Har Dharani Dhar Dhar Viraham Spura Charati Rasam Suravara Turage. So we'll first read the translation, Prabhu. This verse is glorifying Sri Radha.
O Radhe, engaged in amorous love. O Radhe, the flowing river of delightful conjugal mellows. O Radhe, the beloved of Mura's killer. O Radhe, the bestower of excellent benedictions. Please drive away the feelings of separation of the lifter of the great mountain, Govardhan, and bring about mellows of conjugal love in the heart of Krishna, the master of all gods.
This, dear devotees, is the translation of the verse. Now the verse, if you note, every alternate syllable in every part is Ra. I am highlighting here, dear devotees. Alright? So every alternate syllable is Ra, because Ra is the first syllable of whose name, dear devotees? Sri Radha. This is a verse glorifying her. Now, let's take the first phrase. Please repeat after me. Surata rati rate. Now here is the phrase, dear devotees. Now I am telling you the order in which to read. What is the syllable on the top leaf? Su. Come to the center. Go below. No, sorry. Once again. What is the top syllable? Come in between. Go to the right. Go to the right. Ti. Come to the center. Go to the left. Come to the center. Go below. Te. So I hope you are able to understand. Once again. Su. Ra. Ti. Ra. Ra. Te. I hope you are able to understand. So this is one lotus. In this way, the entire poetry is actually nothing but lotuses offered to Sri Radha, dear devotees. Alright. Now I will sing. You repeat after me and verify if the lotuses have been made properly. Alright. Surata rati rate. Sara 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 se. Mura mara karame. Vara tara varade. Hara hara dharani. Dhara dhara viraham. Spura charati rasam. Suravara turage. So this is a garland of lotus flowers offered to Sri Radha, dear devotees. Now, dear devotees, Sri Kavi Karnapur will say, I can do much better. I'll make a flag for Sri Radha. Dear devotees, here is a flag for Sri Radha by Sri Kavi Karnapur. Simple verse, please repeat after me. Rasatam sarasarambhe Radha sarara madhavam Vamdamara rasadhara Bheram sarasatam sara. Now you have a flag, dear devotees, here. Now we'll read the first two lines and you count from 1 to 16. Alright? See from 1 to 16. Rasatam sarasarambhe Radha sarara madhavam. Sri Kavi Karnapur says, now count from 16 back to 1. Count in opposite direction. Vam dhamara rasadhara Bheram sarasatam sara. Oh, wonderful, dear devotees. Sri Kavi Karnapur, the great poetic genius of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Here is the translation.
At the beautiful commencement of the Ras Leela, Srimati Radharani, the gopi who defeats the beauty of the greatest of lotus flowers, quickly went along with Krishna, the husband of Ramadevi, who causes the destruction of all material bondage, and who enjoys the splendor of rasa.
So, dear devotees, I would like to now show a final verse. This is a newly composed verse dedicated to Sri Radha. And dear devotees, we will have this final verse of glorification. I will sing, kindly sing after me. Ravale gochara, ratri lo patura, ragadaleshwara, rasa vishwambhara, radhasaramvara, radhikanashwara, raturomanchara, rasabhumim para. Now, dear devotees, here is the translation. First, we'll go through the translation. Prabhu, kindly read.
She manifested herself in Raval, Ravale Gochara. She becomes anxious due to the passing away of the night, Ratri Lopatura. She is the greatest expert in musical melodies and beats, Ragataleshwara. She is the nourisher of the world of rasa, Rasa Vishwambara. She is eternal, Anashvara, and she causes the appearance of ecstatic emotions such as goosebumps in Krishna or in her devotees, Romanchara. May the greatest of the great, Vara, transcendental potency, Para, named Sri Radhika, bestow Ratu, access to Vrindavan, the land of Ras Leela, Rasa Bhumi, for it is the essence of all perfect objects. Radha Sada.
Jai Srimati Radharani ki. Now, dear devotees, you will notice that every phrase begins with and ends with the same syllable Ra. Please sing after me. Ravale gochara. So the first syllable is Ra and the final syllable is Ra because Ra is the first syllable of the name of Sri Radha. Now, dear devotees, we will plot the verse on a lotus. Now, please see the first phrase. The first syllable is plotted in the center, Ra. The second syllable above it, Va. The third syllable above it, Le. The fourth syllable outside the lotus, Go. The fifth syllabus we move slightly clockwise, Cha, and come back to the center again, Ra. I hope you are able to understand. So once again, dear devotees, please sing after me. Or can you sing? Let's sing together, dear devotees, all right? Ravale gochara, ratri lo patura, ragataleshwara, rasa vishwambhara, radhasaramvara, radhikanashwara, raturomanchara, rasabhumim para. Now, dear devotees, deep within the heart of Sri Radha, there is one particular person hidden. Who is hidden deep within the heart of Sri Radha? Sri Krishna. Therefore, dear devotees, deep within the heart of the glorification of Sri Radha also, there is something hidden. Please look at the tip of the lotus above, which is the first syllable, dear devotees. Go. What is the Pa, Le, Shwa, Ram, Na, Ma, Mi. Gopaleshwaram Namami. I offer obeisances to the Lord of the Power. dear devotees. So, in this way, dear devotees, the universe is unlimited. And I just discussed one of the 150 plus ornaments today. I'm asking you, we chanted. Did you feel happy? Oh, wonderful, dear devotee. So I succeeded in my purpose. Huh? Entire books have been composed using such ornaments, but many of these books are untranslatable because you can't really translate all of this in other languages. But what we can do is we can try to write some poetry from time to time. Srila Prabhupada wanted us to write poetry. Here is a letter by Srila Prabhupada to a disciple, German disciple, asking him to write poetry. Please read.
I've seen your poetry, and it's very nice. Try to write more and to have it published. If you like, I can send you more topics to write poetries about and to versify into the German language.
So, dear devotees, poetry can be written in any language whatsoever. Now, I will conclude my words here. Thank you very much. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guro reva me nahi. If there are any mistakes in what I spoke, yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam saha. May the kind learned devotees correct me and purify it. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there's anything nice, tad guro reva. It belongs to my gurujanas. May nahi. It doesn't belong to me. This presentation I had lost on my previous computer. Somehow I recovered it and we have it today. Many years ago I had shown this, but somehow it got lost. Somehow I recovered it and today we have it here. So today was an opportunity to display it here. Thank you very much. It was Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah, we'll have one comment by Maharaj because we have to pause at 8 o'clock. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
I was really hesitant, but since Srila Prabhupada's encouragement was especially to a German disciple, a poem, I have just composed a poem. May I share it?
Oh, Hare.
I composed it in German first, but then I translated it. So please be with me. It is not nearly as beautiful as what we have heard both from the acharyas and the amazing skill of our Hari Parshad, but I tried. So here it comes. Who told them is the title. Who told the little birds to jump out of their nests and trust the air? Who whispered to the tiny seed, become a huge banyan tree? Who smiled at the atoms and told them to bind so that all this around us could appear? And who speaks even now to unyielding hearts? Why have you forgotten that you were meant to simply sing, dance, and laugh with me? Perhaps when you meet him, he will hand you an eraser and urgently request you to remove that one word from your life. Impossible.
Hare
Trying to give pleasure to Srila Prabhupada, it will become better next time.
No. It's,
You know, when I write, I'm on a bench somewhere, I take a tissue paper. I have written many poems, and the tissue paper, then afterwards, because I don't think I'm a great poem, I use it to to do what you do. The tissue paper and throw it away. This one is not there in German language.
We should collect all the tissue papers. That the servant should collect the tissue papers he puts in the dustbin, and we can publish a book after 1 or 2 years. Yeah?
Please hear one in German. Yes. Any of your previous compositions that you remember? Maybe not this one, but another one. Please.
In German, but then half of the audience cannot understand. I will. No, it's and someone a quote which everyone will like is, "Don't trust me." Nowadays we don't want to trust sannyasis and gurus, so it starts, "Don't trust me." When I cry, I give my tears many names. But if you look closely into the tears I cry, you will discover at the bottom of them your own beautiful face. Yes, I really only cry for you. But let us come back to the next. Really, this art of poetry, which is aiming to create rasa, which is a non-material thing, it is not a thing, it is Krishna. It is just stunning and mind-blowing. May I just know from you, I mean, when you do this with the many lotus flowers, I mean, what goes on in you that wants that to, because you also want to say something, you don't just want to be like a child who uses Lego stones and just somehow builds something.
Right.
You want to, and then it's I have been in other lectures and we showed the chakra formation, the Vedanga formation. There is this. How to do that?
Okay.
Or how is that done?
Well, I think there is, to be honest, just as when you write poetry, there is some spurti, some spontaneous inspiration which comes all of a sudden, that I must compose something. And then there is the inspiration of the previous acharyas who have composed in similar shapes. So the restriction is what we have to keep first on the paper. We have to plot down the restrictions that we have to follow while composing the verse. So those restrictions are like a handicap which pose a difficulty while we are composing the verse. And usually such type of poetry, the acharyas say, this chitra kavya, they call it poet, but they don't call it very high class of poetry. The acharyas say that this poetry is not the highest class of poetry, chitra kavya. The highest class of poetry is where there are no restrictions, but rasa flows. Like the poetry of Sri Rupa Goswami in the morning, in the afternoon, which we were having, there were no such restrictions on syllables. So magic produced using syllables is counted as adham kavya, perhaps one of the most beginning level of kavya for somebody who wants to enter into this domain. Beyond that, then you need a heart to, really write something which has rasa. So this, the main rasa in this is chamatkar, ascharya ras, wow. So this is the main rasa in this particular type of poetry. But once you understand the mathematics or the grammar and the restrictions, and you are able to follow the rules, you can put in the terms, but the restrictions come first, and around the restrictions you have to compose the terms. So the quality of the poetry is sacrificed in following the restrictions. Therefore, the acharyas say it is adham kavya, it is kavya of the very beginning level. Actually, a poet should not be restricted in any way. But this is his own voluntary restriction which he has taken in order to compose poetry. So then after this, when the other ornaments will be described, there are no such restrictions. And then the sweetness of the meaning comes out. And so, really speaking, the restrictions have to be placed first on a diagram on paper, and then following the restrictions, what is the most important restriction? For example, every second syllable should be ra. That we have to keep in mind. And then, according to a particular thought in mind, then we have to compose the words, and then accordingly you fit it in the uh, diagram. More difficult is when the diagram has a hidden signature, because that's where you are really tested. But uh, this is still Adham Kavya, the most uh, beginning level of poetry that the previous acharyas have specified. Uttam Kavya, the best poetry, is what Sri Rupa Goswami has compiled in Padyavali and in Bhakti Rasamrita. That is Uttam Kavya, because there is flow of ras. And what is the heart of poetry, dear devotees? Ornaments or ras? Ras. So if ornaments are there but the heart is not there, the acharya says it's okay. But if the ornaments are not there but the heart is there, the acharyas will say, wonderful, this was beautiful poetry. This is what I can say. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mitya, yes. So Hare Krishna. Please, one second, please. This marks the conclusion of this day, not the entire conclusion or complete conclusion. There's Prashadam. I just want to say, I think we all notice by going through this retreat, and thanks to really Hari Parshad, I really want to say this, where we learn so many new and unheard. We have not heard many things before. Points, we are filled with so much transcendental or good informations. So please know, tomorrow is another day. Pace yourself if you're getting tired physically. Do take enough rest. We start tomorrow again with the lecture. I think it will be part 2 of the remaining leg of Dharma.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we will have a similar program like always, with a few one new thing. There will be the forenoon presentation at 11 o'clock. Then we always acknowledge that there is, although the time is given, but sometimes some questions are not really addressed. So in the afternoon at 5 o'clock,
5:45? 5 o'clock?
Someone please help me. 5 o'clock,
Okay.
both Hari Parshad and myself will come here to answer any of your questions. So this can be done in 2 ways. Please listen now carefully. One is you can write your question on a piece of paper, and perhaps Valentina can supply a basket on the Vyasa sign. You will find it there, and your question can be in there, or you can think of the question you would like to have. This session is obviously very dependent on good questions, and that again is dependent neither on Hari Parshad nor me. It is entirely your responsibility because it's your question. So please think about it. We have seen in Govardhan retreats that this can be a very lively and encouraging session if the audience has prepared good questions. 5 o'clock, and then there is an evening katha again. And I believe tomorrow is your last day with us, and you leave on Monday quite early. Is that correct?
Yeah.
to go back to Mumbai or to your next destination. So yes, there will be programs on Monday also. I will still be there and offer a lecture and this and that. I don't know at the moment. So all we need to know is tomorrow is the last full day. The last complete day. Monday is only half a day. So pace yourself, be there in your naturally blissful, absolutely untired mode, where not one of you will doze off during the lectures. I saw a few. and I wish you a wonderful, it's a wonderful atmosphere. And like Parshad noted, he said he feels very at home here, or very, how do you say, very happy here. I think a wonderful atmosphere, which is palpable, it's in the air, is happening. So tomorrow, last full day, be there. For now, if you want to conclude the evening nicely, you might like to go for a quick darshan of Radha Madan Mohan before you move out to take your prasada, because it will be really quickly closed. I think Baba Singh perhaps 2 minutes more, and then we can close the other. Wishing you all the best, and Hare Krishna.